Welcome to the New Renaissance Tribe podcast, a space for curious, creative, and multi-passionate people in pursuit of a meaningful, inspired life. I'm your host, Mandy Jones, and here you'll find honest conversations with people that I like to call modern Renaissance souls. Artists, creators, explorers, builders, meaning makers, and visionaries. Today, I'm joined by my good friend, Victoriya, music producer and artist, creator, entrepreneur, and wellness advocate. She's been one of the most inspiring people to watch, not just because of her music, but because she's built an entire ecosystem around her creativity. In this conversation, we explore the creative and entrepreneurial side of that journey, how Victoriya has built her music career from scratch, what it takes to diversify your income without losing your artistic identity, and the role that wellness and lifestyle design play in sustaining it all. Hi, Victoriya. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Mandy. Thank you for having me. Very happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm so pumped. I know you've been making a lot of new content recently, and I've been really excited to see you expand everything and just kind of increase all the different ways that you're providing insights and artistry to your audience. So it's fun.
Yeah, I love doing it. Currently working on a couple tracks right now as we speak.
Awesome. You're very prolific with music production, especially under your brand, but we'll get to that in a minute. I wanted to mention that Victoriya and I first connected through music back in 2016-ish, I think. We were both recording vocal sample packs, and she was doing a lot more recording in the dance music industry than I was. I was just getting into it. And I've been following your and Max's journey in all areas of life since then. The last time I saw you guys, you were raising puppies and loving life in Florida. So I'm just kind of curious what you're up to recently and what you're excited about right now.
Pretty much the same thing is going on, except the puppies are bigger, and I'm working out. Well, I'm trying to make more time for music because, as you may know, I just do a lot of things in my day. But I'm getting more into my creative flow after having what felt like a few years worth of writer's block where I was intermittently coming up with ideas as good as my old ideas. I felt like I just thought maybe I wasn't like tapping in the way I used to. Recently, I've been getting back into being more creative and productive, and I think I can attribute a lot of that to my new lifestyle and the way that I've changed all my habits and ways of living to create like a more conducive environment for creativity, basically. Probably that, just creating more. There's the opportunity to keep creating more. I feel like I have a lot more ideas flowing, so I'm really excited about getting them from my brain to the speakers.
Do you think that relocating to Florida has been huge in your, I don't know, just in designing a lifestyle around your creativity? Because I know you guys are originally from New Jersey and Max is from Toronto, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. We love it here. Huge part of it is probably the fact that we can get sun all the time, and like in our old northern environments there just was seasonal affective disorder that went into like not being as creative. I feel like just getting vitamin D and having like a healthy active outdoor lifestyle just is more conducive to creativity, so we both feel more creative and more unlocked in that way. We loved it where we were too before. Like it wasn't bad, it was just like there was something lacking. Like we always wanted to be in a tropical environment, so we moved here, and it's definitely improved things.
I'm definitely feeling that because I'm up in the Boston area at the moment and it's getting to me. In some ways, the
Yeah.
darkness makes me more creative, and staying inside obviously pushes me towards doing things like recording and writing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's rough. I've lived in all kinds of different places, and when I'm cold, I'm always like, I feel like I'm conserving energy and not expanding the way that I normally would.
Yeah, but that's a good point you make though, honestly. Like the fact that it's cold and you can't go outside kind of forces you to be inside and being creative and at your desk and stuff, because I don't spend as much time inside at my studio as I used to, honestly. Not that I couldn't, but it's just that I do. I feel like there's so many things to do outside that I'm always outside. But that's partially because I have dogs and like just that sort of routine. But
Yeah.
yeah, I guess you can make it work no matter where you are. But the move was basically for health more so, but it did benefit creativity as well.
I know that when I was living in a warm climate, I always found an excuse to be outside, and I would be creative at home, but I had to force myself into studio time. So, I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like there's all kinds of ways to make it work in different environments, but definitely feeling good physically is huge no matter what.
That's number one. Yep, absolutely 100%. That's number one. Like there is nothing without that.
One of the things we've never talked about that I've always been really curious about with you is your early days, like as a kid. What were you like creatively? Like, what were you into, and what pulled you towards music and art and just making stuff in general?
From a very, very young age, like maybe like 1 year old and maybe even younger, I was very drawn to music instantly. I was always like, if I heard something interesting on the radio, I was like vibing to it or just like getting really excited about hearing a beat. And then, like, we had a piano in my house. So when I was 1 year old and 2 and 3, I would sit at the piano. As soon as I was old enough to sit up, I was like just plunking away at that thing. And I learned like notes and things. I didn't even, I don't know, I still to this day don't know how to read music, but I was so interested in the piano and the notes that I just forced myself to learn by ear like how to play things. And it all kind of went from there. My parents got me piano lessons, but I wasn't really interested in learning the technical ways of placing my fingers. I just wanted to do whatever I wanted. So I just that never really I didn't stick with that. But as soon as I found out about FL Studio and online, like, and doing anything with your computer and the piano, like digitalizing everything that I was doing on the piano was like the most mind-blowing thing to me. So
Mhm.
immediately when I found out about that, I downloaded FL Studio first and then later Ableton. But I was always really into visual art as well. It wasn't just music. I was very drawn to like painting and drawing and all kinds of art forms. Really, I just felt like that was my purpose. I never really thought much of it, like what I wanted to do with my life. I just knew I enjoyed that, so I always did art.
What kind of art were you into the most?
In my younger years, I was into mostly abstract stuff. I liked abstract, but when it comes to visual arts, I was always into abstract yet very interesting patterns and like textured things.
Hmm.
And yeah, other than that, it was music, always music.
That's so cute. I'm picturing like toddler Victoria jamming. Do you ever have one of those
Yeah.
I had one of those tiny, like the Casio that was like that big, and it had, the
Hmm.
pre-recorded MIDI beats and stuff on it. And
Oh my god, yeah. I had like a little Yamaha keyboard too. I had the Sony Walkman. The first cassette that I ever got was Eiffel 65 because Blue was my favorite song. I know you hate that song,
I do hate
but
that song.
that was my
That's so funny.
yeah. That song is like part of my soul is made out of that song. I heard that song when I was waiting for my mom at the grocery store. I was in the car and it came on and I was like, "Oh my god, what is this?" I just instantly had a connection with that song. I was like, "There's never been anything like this before. This is so interesting." And it got stuck in my head for like days until I heard it again and then it was on the radio every single time I listened to the radio. It was so popular, but I loved it.
I should be honest, I don't hate that song. I loved it when it came out just like everyone else did, like at least on some level, as a hype song, if nothing else. Just I'm probably thinking more because it was so overplayed than anything.
Yeah, I've done that to songs where I've heard something like 1,000 times and I can't appreciate it the same way anymore.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that. Like I'll fall in love with a song and then I'll just absolutely ruin it. Just wear it out.
Yeah, like learn how to play it on the piano and then just like sing it all the time at home.
grow to
Yeah.
grow to hate it over time. In terms of vocals, like Were you singing early or did that not come until later?
Yeah, yes, always. I would always sing. Um, Always humming when I was, my parents would say that I was always humming, like whenever I would do something, it would just be like humming random melodies or something. And then always singing to songs that I liked. And then for some reason I have this, I don't know if it's a skill or a curse or something, but that if I hear a song like more than 3 times, I'll know like every single word to it for the rest of my life. And like I know like every single word to every song I've ever heard more than 3 times in my life. So I'd like just sing to everything, like every part. I try to emulate like every part of every song every time it came on, if I liked it, of course. But if I didn't like it, I'd not sing along. But yeah, I was always singing to things and
Cute.
memorizing it, and then making my own stuff as like remixing different parts of things that I liked and like coming up with my own similar songs. I used to write really stupid songs when I was little.
Is there a bunch of
Yeah.
like stuff in the cringe library that will never see the light of day?
Yeah, definitely. I think my mom has some stuff documented on like old home movies and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah. How about songwriting though? Like, because I know for me, I didn't start feeling confident enough to sing because I didn't really have any background in it. I didn't do choir or anything like that. I never knew I could sing. I always thought that maybe I could, but I wasn't really sure. And I didn't
Mhm.
really start doing it until I was like mid 20s, honestly. And
Oh wow.
I certainly
Interesting.
didn't start songwriting until late 20s or mid to late 20s. So I'm curious about your timeline.
I used to write really derpy lyric songs when I was like 10 years old, maybe. And I very shamelessly wrote like really stupid things that I would not like at this point in my life, but I was like at least doing that. And then I went through a period of my life where I did not like lyrics at all because I just felt like lyrics, like words kind of cheapen music a little bit. It feels like it locks you into a meaning that's too specific. And I like abstract things in general. I like things to be more conceptual, and that writing lyrics always made me cringe just because I don't know. I just felt like maybe what people wanted to listen to wasn't really what resonated with me, and then I was at that point not confident enough to write what I liked regardless of what I think people. So I was writing for an audience, and I thought that audience wanted something that I didn't really want to make. So I didn't write lyrics for a really long time, and I had a hard time doing collabs even because I wouldn't want to write cringe lyrics that I wasn't feeling, you know? Like everything about romance and like love stuff, like that stuff can be, there can be some really great lyrics with those types of topics, but that wasn't really what my favorite thing was. And I felt like a lot of trance, especially, wrote lyrics in that sort of style, and I liked a different sort of thing. But now I'm under the belief that you can just do whatever, and you don't have to follow the laws of a genre. You don't have to follow the rules that have been predetermined for something. You can just, you know, do what you actually like and then make something innovative out of it, not just follow the mold. But yeah, for a while I didn't like to write lyrics because of that.
I remember always really catching on to like a bass line or chords or a beat or something like that much more than lyrics. And growing up and having conversations with people about music, and so many people would recognize the lyrics that I didn't recognize or I didn't notice, or people would just relate to the lyrics in general and I couldn't, and I was like much more focused or interested in the music. So I understand exactly what you're saying. I feel like it's almost like you're choosing between music and poetry, and obviously lyrics are both, but a lot of times
Mhm.
lyrics are written in a way that's like on top of the music as opposed to part of the music.
Yes, exactly. What I do when I write vocals is I sing in gibberish. Like I sing random sounds and weird words that don't exist and like stuff that sounds like another language.
Mhm.
And then instead of just keeping it like that, because I know people would hear that and be like, what the fuck is this? Like what even what is being said here? Like people like to sing along to it, so they're not gonna like want to hear some weird alien language. maybe. I don't know, maybe some people would, but I change it. I find like English words that sound the most like what I sang, and then I just apply something. Like that's how I write. Like I let it come to me like a download. Like I get like a weird, I don't know, some weird gibberish alien language download, and then I apply English words to it so that
Yeah.
I can just actually come up with something. Because I love singing. I love the act of singing and the sound of it, and I love it. I just I don't like getting locked into a specific meaning. Maybe I should lean into the gibberish thing because I do a lot of vocal chops that are gibberish because of that. Because I just like the conceptual aspect of all of that, and the way it sounds is cooler than just standard singing to me.
Yeah, I don't know why I never thought of that, just recording gibberish for like chops, because it's actually a really good idea. I would try and be like, make it more difficult for myself to have to write something. It's like, I don't want to be creative in the lyric department right now. I'm trying to be like melodic. So that makes more
Yeah.
sense, actually.
Yeah, it allows you to focus on the melody more than the words because when you get trapped in the words, you don't make as cool of a melody. But if you focus on that, it's like the words can come next.
And I feel like sometimes I'll get a phrase and a melody at once sometimes, or I'll just get a melody that I'm writing on the piano or wherever, MIDI or something, and then I'll want to put words to it. But usually it's not the words first, although in more recent years, I'm doing that. But yeah, it's funny how it can be so many different ways.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a good question for you. And this is coming from, a lot of the stuff you've been posting recently about questioning cultural scripts and things, which I'm a big fan of this topic. You keep talking about unlearning the cultural scripts that keep us mentally imprisoned. Like, I loved that video you posted on that the other day. What was the moment where something cracked open for you and you realized, I don't have to follow any of this? I can literally just build the life I want. And what now?
All right. So what moment catalyzed that
Yeah.
basically? I think it's probably the fact that I suffered with anxiety for a very long time, but it wasn't anxiety about like things or happenings. It was more like health anxiety and like fear of death related type of anxiety. But really, what I realized is that only manifested because I was living in a way that was stifling my soul. And I've always been sort of a seeker of more, like I always knew that there was something more to existence than what was being presented by the external world. So I spent a lot of time searching for different ways of thinking and like doing a lot of work inside my own psyche and digging deep to find what it was that was what was really bothering me, like what was making all of that anxiety manifest. And basically it was living according to beliefs that were faulty, installed in my mind by others in the external world, and then living those things out and feeling like I was in a prison because I was not following my soul's desires. I was following like a code of conduct that was not mine. Like those things didn't come from me, but I felt obligated to act that way to avoid a hard time, or any reason that it's kind of like a self-preservation instinct, sort of like it's people pleasing essentially. So I did a lot of that and a lot of fussing over like how is this going to be received, like how do my actions affect others and things like that. And yeah, it was a slow, it wasn't really like a moment. It was the catalyst was like the suffering, the anxiety, the suffering of with the anxiety, and then the continuous seeking and getting into more spiritual things and soul searching basically. And then I don't know. I feel like we're all kind of, I don't know if you feel this too, but I feel like everyone on earth right now is kind of changing, like waking up to something. Like everyone is evolving in a really interesting way lately. And it might be because of technology and the way we can communicate with each other, but I feel like everyone is kind of onto this in their own way, that the ways of the past are over. People pleasing is over. Believing that you know, for example, as an artist, you can't be a multifaceted individual. You can't be a versatile person. You have to stick to one thing. Like for the longest time, I didn't really post on my Instagram because I thought I'm a music producer. That's all I can post. I can't post my food. People are going to be bored, or I can't post philosophical stuff or spirituality videos. People are going to think I'm crazy. Like, you know, I was always into so many different things, but I was like, all I can post here is music and selfies, you know. But then I realized it's like, no, we can do whatever we want. We don't have to box ourselves in, because those are all just faulty beliefs that have been installed in us from other people, and the external environment gave us those ideas. So it's like we always, I want to question, like, is this desire really coming from me, or is it coming from some weird other belief that I've just taken on some because of some experience? Like, is it really, it's hard to know the difference, but the more you do it, I guess the easier it becomes.
I feel like it gets easier to be brave just through trial and error, just through like showing yourself that you can come out on the other side of the anxiety, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like the process of
Yeah.
getting something done and out into the world. And some personalities are just better at that than others. Like they naturally do that. You know, some people are like long range
Mm-hmm.
planners and they don't do as much reality testing like quickly. So they might not get that feedback right away that's like proves to them this is a safe thing to do. But also, I think automation became a part of society even before AI and everything. Like all these little specialized skills and things were suddenly getting replicated. And so specialization as a in a general sense is becoming less of a thing. Like you were talking about recently too, building a personal brand is huge because the multifaceted nature of being a human being is going to be a coveted experience because everything else is being
Yes,
duplicated,
exactly.
replicated.
Yeah. People want to connect with other people. I feel like that is part of why we even are here in the first place. We crave like contact and connection with other consciousness perspectives. So I guess technically AI could be its own, it is its own consciousness in a way, but there's always going to be a human connection drive, I think, that we all have, and AI isn't replacing that right now that I can see. So I feel like a strong personal brand is the way to go. AI can do a lot of things, but can't really replace that. There's something that humans still possess that it can't quite replicate.
And you were talking, I related a lot to what you said about anxiety around expanding your identity as an artist, not diluting your musician identity with other things, but other things are you and part of you. And so, I mean, it is what it is now. But there was a period of time where all the advice was like, don't post anything that your music fans aren't there for, or they haven't, followed you to see pictures of this or that or the other thing. They came for music. And
Exactly. Yeah.
yes, they came for music, but they also came for the human that made the music. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's what I realized too. It's like they're into you, and people want to see your life. They're interested in being your friend, basically. Like if they resonate with your music, they resonate with your soul on some level. So all the other things are easily appreciated by people who are really there for you.
Do you think that this all kind of coincides with the death of this old style of like advertising and viewing people as a product or a commodity, or like audience as a commodity or as like a tool? I feel like that's getting broken down with things as simple as the TikTok algorithm and the popularization of these kind of simple selfie videos that people weren't doing a lot of previously, and this simple, direct person to person communication. I don't know. I just feel like it used to be a lot more of this sales process, like presenting an image, getting people to buy what your image is, and then subscribe to your
Yeah.
business, essentially.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot less shallow. I don't know, maybe it's just my algorithm and what I'm into, but I'm seeing a lot more people just ditching old bullshit and just becoming really cool. Like there's just a lot of cool stuff coming out right now. I'm not as cynical as I used to be because I'm just seeing so much cool stuff now. A lot of social media is geared towards just creator economy. I feel like the creator economy is the future. That's really the commodity. The commodity is individuality and AI can do like the mundane tasks, and then people can do the deep art work that they truly feel called to do, and then be able to sustain themselves through that, because technology makes all of our other things so much easier. That's kind of how I see the way things are going. I don't know whether that's too optimistic or what, but
No, I think it's healthfully optimistic. But I've been really interested in this concept of a Renaissance soul. Like people have talked about Renaissance people, Renaissance man, Renaissance woman for so long. But I always resonated with the concept of just someone who has so many different facets, likes to learn, wants excellence, wants to grow, wants to, appreciate the beautiful things in life and like experience life on a very deep level. And that whole thing just kind of led me to create this podcast and a lot of the writing I've been doing recently. But just it's all kind of stemming from this concept of multiple passions. And how do you think about that tension between creating an identity that's something clear, like you want to make your artist image something representative of you, and it is like a clear kind of aesthetic and style. Like you have a very defined aesthetic and style, I would say. But there has to be this other part of you that's like pushing against that, because you're also extremely silly, and it made me happy to see you did that one video of you like
I
dancing
know
the
which
techno
one
in
you're
the car. And I was like, there she is. There she is.
yeah. Yeah, that part of me never went away. That one was there from the beginning. That was like predominantly what I was growing up. And
Awesome.
like, yeah, I didn't do away with that aspect of myself. When it comes to curating an artist's identity, I feel like I don't really identify with stuff too hard, but overall, the way I approach that is that I curate a lot of things that I see, that I like, and that I resonate with, and I kind of make my own little taste profile inside my mind. When I see something else that fits it, I know, like, yeah, like I have a taste profile that I don't know where it comes from. I don't know what the parameters are. I don't know what defines it, but I know that something fits it when I see it. Like there's an algorithm in there deciding like for me that I just it's too complex to describe it or to fit it into one like formula. But I do that. I have that existing in my mind, and then it's really just a resonance, I guess. When I create a certain sound and it resonates with me, I know it fits my taste profile. I'm like, yes, that's part of my thing. That's good. I'll keep that, and I throw out what doesn't fit. And then I share what I decide to share with other people is really just stuff that I have been seeking to hear. Like if I sometimes I when I'm working and I'm working on something other than music, like a task I want to put on a YouTube video in the background, I'll search for a soundtrack to listen to or something to put on the background. And usually it takes me a while to actually find something that I'm really feeling. Like but when I feel like I can't find anything, I start to create. Like I'll go and I'll make what I'm in the mood to listen to. And so when I create something, it's like what I want to hear, what I wish existed for me to find on YouTube when I'm working. You know what I mean? So that's like what I decide to share is the stuff that I was craving to listen to or that I was in the mood to listen to, and then I created something of in that style. And yeah, and then I make sure it aligns with my soul's taste profile that I was talking about, and then I release it.
It reminds me of something that I always say. It's like one of my little sayings now, which is if you don't see the beauty you seek, create it.
Yes, exactly. That's yeah.
We're searching for stuff that we like, and it's like occasionally we'll come to this gap in the universe where it's like you're supposed to fill that. You are supposed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's your place.
Yep.
So I love that.
Exactly.
You have to be one of the most like hustling individuals that I've met, because you've built this big ecosystem around your creativity. You're always like the first person to do this thing that I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. Why didn't I think of that? Like, of course, Victoria thought of it. Everything from, starting your Etsy shop and sustaining that. I mean, that's like amazing, the growth that you had with that. Having a clothing brand at one point. I don't know if you're still doing that. Music, your wellness content now, coaching, the ebook that you released recently, these faceless social media accounts, and all kinds of different things. I'm sure there's other stuff that I'm missing, but can you walk us through all the different ways you've monetized your skills and talents? And I don't know, I just think it's one of the most
Sure.
overwhelming parts of the journey for a lot of creative people.
Yeah, I just really like a lot of things and I'm interested in a lot of things. So I try stuff. I just try stuff and I see what sticks. Like Etsy really took off. That was something that I made because I really liked chokers and I was really into the aesthetic of them. So I was sourcing a bunch of cute materials and making a bunch of designs that I never saw anywhere else. And then it just blew up. Like Etsy really took off because I just put a lot of care into designing them, I guess, and it resonated with people and they wanted to wear them too. So that's still going strong. And then yeah, I branch out and I do a bunch of other things just because I like to diversify. It comes naturally. It's kind of just like I don't know.
I think it's the
Yeah.
multi-passionate thing. It's the Renaissance soul thing. It's just like a prism.
Yeah, exactly. I think everyone's like that. I think that the only reason people think they're not is because they stifled it. Like early
Mm,
on in childhood they were told, "Oh, you can't that can't work out or that's not realistic." And then they internalized that belief and they told themselves, "Yeah, they're probably right. It's probably not realistic. I got to do this instead or I got to stick to one thing. Can't spread yourself too thin or something." I always was paranoid that I was spreading myself thin by coming up with all these different ideas, but
yeah,
honestly, if you can make it work, if you like them all individually enough, it all you can manage it. It's only overwhelming if you believe it to be. So
totally. And there's a lot of people that are very comfortable in the status quo, and that's fine. Great. Like the world was
yeah,
built
it's fine for
for
certain
and by
people.
you, like for the most part. That's great. Like enjoy.
Hmm.
But there's,
Yep, but I can't.
yeah, like I
Not me.
can't. So we have to like make our
Yeah.
own little worlds somehow because everything's not built for that. And what's happening now is you're seeing, probably because of the internet and technology, and people are more mobile in general. People are more able to see like
Hmm.
what other people are doing. They're able to move around and have a different kind of freedom that we didn't have, when we were young.
Hmm.
I think as you see more people just simply doing it, you're like, oh, wait a second, maybe I can do that. And there's all these people that have been dormant, waiting for
Yeah.
permission, and then they see someone else do it. And it's like,
Yes.
that whole concept of the first person on the
Yeah.
dance floor. And then the second person has no problem going,
Hmm.
but it just takes the one person to go first.
Or like when it comes to possibilities, like somebody runs a 5-minute mile and then a bunch of other people do it in the same month. It's because just by knowing it, seeing that it's possible, it's possible for you. I'm trying to
Yeah.
practice the whole thing where even if I haven't seen it done before, I still believe it's possible
Hmm.
because if it exists in your imagination, it's already possible. So, reality creation, you can just imagine something, and that's how you innovate and make and be the first one to do the thing.
Mm.
So,
Are you
that's
saying that
another
like
thing I'm
my
trying to
Barbie
do
dream
lately.
house exists in like my mind?
Absolutely. Yes, definitely. It does.
That's so
You
lit.
just have to like quantum jump to that timeline somehow.
Quantum jumping to a Barbie dream house. That's like a great collection of words. One of the things that I probably should have talked to you more about this over the years, but as someone who, you've been building your artist career, your music career independently for a long time now, you kind of were like, I'm done with labels. I'm just going to do my own thing, control my own world, and become a self-sustaining artist.
Mhm.
And it really worked out well. Like you built a really unique sound. I mean, your voice is one of the most unique I've ever heard, probably.
Thank
People
you.
support your music and like are really into your specific sound, and it seems like there's so many people that are afraid to do anything without the support of a label or just without the pathway that other people have taken. it takes some bravery to just go out there and do it on your own. So I'm kind of curious what you learned from that process or like just how that came to be.
Oh my gosh. If there was one thing that I could tell anybody who makes music is just it's to don't release on labels. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. The people think they need the exposure or that it's not official if they don't go through a label. I really honestly in 2025, I don't know one reason why anybody would want to go through a label other than like instead of just self-releasing the not even just because of the money aspect, but the money aspect is like you make orders of magnitude more money releasing it on your own than you do going through the label gives you like $1 a year. And I don't even want to say how much DistroKid will give you if you have the same amount of plays, but like it's so much more that just goes straight to the artist. You don't need a middleman. Yeah, middleman stuff is over. You do not need any of that. It's definitely a archaic tradition to think labels. I feel like it was before even these like self-releasing platforms existed, and that's the only reason why people would go through label because there was no way to distribute your music unless you did that. But now that there's DistroKid and TuneCore and these other ones. There's probably so many other ones I don't know about. I use DistroKid, but now that there's people can just access their own distribution, there's just zero reason to do a label. They steal all of your money and they don't even do anything as far as exposure goes these days because you have social media. You can market your own stuff. You can, yeah, it's just not worth it at all.
I was just like curious about your thought process, I guess, more than anything. All right, let's shift gears. You and Max live such a intentional lifestyle. Like I don't use that word for everyone. I know it's really fashionable to use it. And I do like the word, but I don't use it for everyone because a lot of people are kind of, they choose a lifestyle that works for them, but they'll like kind of just go with the flow and whatever. And I feel like you guys have really designed your life. And I find that so interesting and inspiring from, the wellness stuff and the structure of your days to creativity and entrepreneurship. So I'm just kind of curious, what were the biggest shifts that made this lifestyle possible for you?
Again, probably the depressing stuff, probably like the suffering that we've seen in our lives. So we've been radicalized but into like radical health and well-being and going all in towards like wellness and health just because we've seen the opposite. We both had family members early on in life that struggled with things that are preventable. So we both are very passionate about preventing disease and any type of suffering like that is needless. A lot of stuff is totally lifestyle related. So we geared our whole life around doing the best we can for our bodies, and also just knowing that your health is your number one wealth in life, and without that you have nothing. Creativity is really only possible with a healthy functioning mind and body, and a good routine just supports all of that. Like waking up with the sun, going to sleep with the sun has really helped us. We've both had anxiety and depression and things like, and we've seen a lot of shit as everyone has. We just totally on the same wavelength as far as what needs to be done to live our best life, and it's been this that we're doing. So we stay locked in, if that's the term
Oh, yeah.
being used now.
I think you and I both know people who are very intellectual and they seem to think that that's their strength and that's what they're concerned with. They're not concerned with their physical being, but they are connected. In fact, your brain is a part of your body for everyone who wasn't aware.
Oh, absolutely.
So like you're
Mm-hmm.
not going to be operating at your fullest capacity, even intellectually, without having a healthy body. It's just like not, you're just not going to be
Absolutely.
maxing at least.
Yes, exactly. 100%.
So Raw vegan living and biological optimization are a big part of your guys' world right now. I know you talked about, we already kind of said how that journey began and how it influenced your creativity and energy. But what does a good day look like to you then? A good day meaning one that supports your health, your art, and your business.
I think any day that I can be present and fully experiencing my life in a balanced way is a good day for me. Like I don't fuss over whether I've met a certain productivity quota or whether certain things have been achieved. I kind of let that stuff happen naturally, but the number one thing for a good day for me is eliminating any self-imposed suffering and just allowing myself to be present in my life, so that if I'm in that state of presence and truly experiencing, like deeply connected and grounded in my life, I can do any task that comes at me and I can be okay with the present moment. I can create if I want to. I can make amazing food. I can walk my dogs and just go to the gym, and you can do anything through just being present. And like it's vague to say presence because it sounds like a buzzword, but I spent a lot of my life not being present, so I know that it's a valuable state of being that I don't know if many people these days actually tune into presence anymore, because there's so many distractions and so many reasons to live in the past or the future or to overthink things. But yeah, presence is just, to me, like, yeah, it's the way to have a good day. It's because the present is all we ever have. So if you can connect with the moment and be okay with the isness of life, as Eckhart Tolle would say, that you can just let life flow from there.
I think your animals, like, they have to have a big impact on that presence. Because I know for
Oh
me,
my God, yes.
when I'm near a dog or a cat, I feel so locked into the moment, like so locked into the moment.
Yes.
So I think for sure.
Their animals are like, yes, absolutely. I agree.
Tell us about your creatures then and how they've shaped your life, your well being, even your creativity sometimes.
I live for my creatures. Like, I have always, if you knew me in childhood, if anyone knew me when I was a kid, they knew I was like the animal person. Maybe even more so than the music person, because the music I did on my own when people weren't hanging out with me. But when I had friends over, it was all about like playing with the animals. And I had so many different pets my whole life just because they give my life so much meaning and joy that, like, I'm all about them. So yeah, my dogs, my cats, every creature. I've had raccoons and pet deer and ducks and squirrels and all kinds of things that I rescued from outside and like raised them because I just love creatures. They're like, to me, not to sound all like cheesy and weird, but they're like little angels on earth. I feel like they remind us
Yeah.
that innocence exists and that there's like this pure, like, they're never judging you. They're looking at you just with pure love. It's like God is looking at you and you look at your creatures. It's like they're so pure and innocent and just all about like cuddling and food and the good things in life. It's really hard to be stressed when you have animals. So I've always surrounded myself with cute animals. I want even more animals. Like, the only reason I will probably end up getting a larger house and everything is so that I can have more space for more animals. That's what I want.
I can tell you, I'm going to be
Yeah.
super pumped whenever you guys do that and whatever animal situation you've got going on. You know, I support it. I feel like they're
Yeah,
just
like I
like,
want a farm.
yes, please have a farm. I will totally come visit.
Yeah.
You and Max have been together for a really long time now, and you've built a lot of different things together. You've built quite a life together. For people who are multi passionate, curious, and growth oriented in general, what do you think really matters when it comes to choosing a partner and nurturing a relationship that supports the evolution of both people?
It's hard to say because I don't know if this is universal. People pick partners for so many different reasons, but for me, the most important boxes to tick are like taste in music, sense of humor, and an outlook on the world that is similar. I don't know if many people find other people that are so similar to them as Max is to me with certain things, but we, as soon as I met him, we had the same opinions on like almost everything, to the point where it was kind of spooky, and I was like,
Mm.
is this me in a dude's body? Like, I just was like, we thought the same things were funny, we liked the same songs. We just had the same, like, when you would see anything happening in the world, we'd have the same opinion on it, like current events, politics, like all that. So everything just was the same. And I was just like, I know you want a little bit of difference to give like some spice in your life, but I don't know. I feel like you can't go wrong when you pick a partner who's just really, really aligned with you on so many things that it just kind of effortlessly flows, and then you don't grow apart because you always have those things that are the glue. The
Mm.
glue is like your soul is the same kind of.
Yeah, that's
Music
awesome.
taste for me is huge for some reason. I don't know what it is about music taste, but if you like the same chord progressions as me, like, I know our souls are made of the same thing. I know ultimately we are all one and that our souls are all the same anyway, but people have distinguishing, you know, flavors to them. And if you have the same, I don't know, affinity towards sounds, I feel like there's something more there that I can't really explain. But
I think,
I wasn't wrong, because we still get along after all these years.
yeah, you guys are really similar. It is funny, like your energies are very, very similar, and kind of like the humor and the way you guys talk and stuff. It's funny.
Yeah, we have our differences, but the important stuff is the same. So yeah.
And I feel like when you're talking about taste, the process that goes into choosing or liking something, I guess, let's say, like music, like a chord progression that is by nature emotional and
Mhm.
producing certain reactions in your emotions and in your brain. And so there's something about someone who values and enjoys those same processes and those same experiences. I think that
Exactly.
makes it such a good indicator. Yeah,
Yes, that is what it is. That's a good way to put it.
that's
It's
fun.
like it's like the capacity to feel the same emotions and the capacity to appreciate the same simple things in life. You kind of know what someone is capable of. Like, you can't see life through their eyes, but to know that they feel a certain way towards something that you feel that same way towards, it's like,
Mm.
yeah, it's a good indicator.
It's like also a way to feel like not alone in your own interpretation of life. Because if you are interpreting life in this way and you know someone else's, you feel very connected and not alone in your life experience.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel seen, like you feel like your soul is understood.
Oh, cute, guys. So, for anyone who might want to build a self directed life like yours, full of creativity and entrepreneurial ventures and, you know, wellness and striving for optimal conditions and all these different things, where do you think that they should start first? I think I already know the answer.
Yeah, I would probably say health first and foremost, since everything branches off from that. I would say if anyone has any condition that's holding them back, or they're doing any lifestyle things that makes them feel shitty, like maybe drinking or eating bad food or any addictions or things like that, to ditch those and start to cultivate a routine that makes you feel alive and like yourself again, and anything that brings you back to like your childhood, because I feel that the essence of your childhood is really where our creativity originated, and like the childlike state of being is more creatively driving. And if you can get yourself to feel like young again, that would be step one, probably.
And everything kind of stems from there.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people feel like crap these days, I think, because of all the poisonous food that exists in the store and how convenient everything is. The
Mm.
more convenient things are, they're not the best things always. So it takes a little bit of willpower to get started on it, but anything that makes you feel alive and vibrant and energetic just naturally makes you more creative and more productive, and just unlocks you.
I tend to talk about this concept of rituals and small acts of presence. Can be like simple pleasures, can be, your daily routine rituals that you just love that like light up your day and bring you joy. What are those things for you? Like just a couple of like your favorite rituals or small acts of presence.
So in the morning, every morning, I make sencha matcha tea. So I steep a sencha and then I make matcha with it. Matchas are normally either just water matcha or made with like a latte style, like a milk or something. I just do the sencha with the matcha with no sweetness. And I do that as like a ceremony every morning. So when I wake up, the first thing I do is that. And I really love that. Then I also recently I've developed a habit for writing in the morning. I read the book. I forgot the author's name right now, and I actually forgot the title. It was like you're tapping into your inner artist. I forgot. Let me see what the.
Not the
You could probably
artist's
look it
way.
up, but
No.
yes, yeah, that is it.
Okay,
That's it.
cool.
The Artist's Way. Yeah, this is a really good.
Like morning
It's a really good
pages,
book. I
right?
actually listened. Yes, morning.
Okay.
Yes, I started doing those because yes, exactly. Have you read it?
I'm one of those people that started reading it. And I have to finish.
Yeah, I was confusing. I couldn't think of it. I was confusing it with The Creative Act, The Way of Being. That's a different book that I read, but yeah, I read that one, The Artist's Way, recently. Listened to it recently, and I started doing morning pages because I thought maybe it'll help. Something cool. I like new habits, so I did that, and it has been helping me. It's sometimes I don't have time to do it in the morning because I gotta take the dogs out or drive somebody to work or do a different task. But most mornings I do that and I really enjoy it. It helps me get my creativity flowing because I try not to treat it like a journal or to write about anything mundane like yesterday I did this and then it's not like that. It's not like I'm documenting my life. It's more like what's on my mind, like what my soul is feels like tweaking on that day, and I'll think about concepts that I you laugh when
Tweaking.
I say the word tweaking.
I love that word.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone I don't know if anyone like understands that word. I feel like that might be like a weird slang thing that me and Max say, but it's basically just like what you feel like obsessing over. Tweaking on it is like getting really, really into something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I do with my morning pages. I just tweak on philosophical ideas or spiritual ideas or anything that inspires me. Tapping into that muse state, which is elusive, but and then the other rituals that I do are my food. I do about an hour of food prep every day and I make like 1 to 2 main meals per day. I go all out with it. I make it very artistic. I live for that. It's like my favorite part of the day when me and Max can just like prepare our food and make something really nice and then sit down and watch something together and eat. That's like a ceremony. It's like every day we have a food ceremony, every eating day at least, because sometimes we do fasting or juice fasting or something. But then I guess probably my sleep ritual, self care, showers, and the sleep ritual, which is basically meditate, wind down, headphones on, everything else off, and then just listening to meditations and then falling asleep.
Love that too.
Astral projecting and whatnot. Yeah.
Simple stuff,
Yeah.
what everybody does. We have to talk more about that and off the call sometime.
What, astral projecting or
Yeah, and just like
meditation?
sleep rituals and sleep routines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I'm a sleep enthusiast these days. I used to be a night owl, but now I'm a morning person, and I never thought I would be, but I love it so much.
I just made the switch myself unintentionally. I just like went to bed really early one night, and then I woke up really early because I went to bed early, and I was like, wow, I feel amazing.
Holy shit, could you just keep doing that?
I feel great. And it just kept going, and I haven't really stopped, honestly. So
yeah, when I realized it turns out that you only feel like crap in the morning if you don't go to sleep at a proper hour, I was like, well, I could just go to sleep early. I felt like I was going to miss out on something if I went to sleep early, but go to sleep with the sun, and I'm like, no, like people don't need me right now. I'm just gonna go unconscious, and then I'll be up at 5 a.m. Sometimes 4:30, and it's like fully energized. I'm like, amazing. It's great.
Don't you think that creative people tend to like have this bedtime procrastination thing because our brains are novelty seeking and we're kind of like looking for more inputs that feed that?
Yes, and I also think there's the appeal of being awake when most of the world is sleeping is kind of the vibe a lot of creative people are going for, because you feel like you can finally get some peace. Everything is pretty like quiet, dark. You feel like you're really in your space. But I just shifted that basically to the morning because nobody wakes up early either now. People are up at like, you see around here, you see people up kind of early, but it's like 5% of people are up at like 6 a.m. and everybody else is up at like 8, 9, 10. So it's nice to be able to work in the dark, in the quiet, and just, yeah. Like I said, I used to be a night owl with the sleep procrastination thing, like you said, like mainly just because I wanted to have solitude, be alone to create something. But yeah, just switch the hours and it works just as well. Actually, it works way better because you don't end up being sleep deprived. Because sometimes I would stay up so late, I'd see the sun come up and then go to sleep. And that was just gross because then there's no time in the day that you can wake up and feel good the next day. It's just, and sleep is one of the most important things for health and well-being. I just had to ditch that lifestyle.
And I think, as you get older and your time is more precious and whatever you feel like, it just kind of sucks to lose out on daylight. Like,
Yes.
I don't know. Just feels good to
Yep.
get all the daylight. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really good for your brain too. Your eyes need to see the sun. All the blue light is really messing with us.
Going back to just artists and creators in general, let's talk about any advice that you would give to artists and creators who want to diversify their income without losing their artistic identity.
Okay, so I'd say anything that you like, go for it. Anything that you are passionate about, never restrict, because the limiting belief that you're imposing on yourself is the only it's not even real. It's just it's a faulty self-limiting belief, and that if you are passionate about something, 100% it can work out. You just have to do it. You don't stifle. And yeah, if you want to diversify, there's just really nothing holding you back other than your own self-limiting beliefs. That's really all I can say, because I know that that's what did it to me for a while until I finally realized.
I feel like there are a lot of people out there who are kind of stuck in this mode of getting by, and maybe they're in jobs they don't like, or they're in situations that take all their energy and they're not maybe making as much music as they like, or creating their art, or just dedicating themselves in the way that they would want to. And there's such a big jump from that to being in a place where you feel like you have the time and resources to do all of your ideas. Like in between those two things, there's all these small actions that have to take place, like starting these side projects, finding time for them, saying no to other things in your life to maybe prioritize the things that are going to give you freedom or give you creative satisfaction. Like there's all these decisions that go into it, and people have a lot of excuses. Like I've been there. I've made all the excuses, like, why am I not creating today? The thing that I say that I'm passionate about, that I use as a label for who I am. Like, why am I not doing that thing? And there's always an excuse. How do you get over that? Like, what would you say to people just getting over that little excuse of, well, I'm busy, I have a lot of work to do, I have other priorities. The list goes on.
Yeah. Man, I feel that. I really feel that, because I was like that for a while. It's really all fear. I think that the procrastination and the excuses we make are kind of fear of failure, fear of judgment, and it's kind of just disguising itself. And we say, oh, well, I have these obligations, I need a real job so that I can do my passion on the side, so that it can, it can make the real money with this thing that I hate doing, but I'll just do it temporarily, while I get this other thing going. It's like that's like typically the excuse, the main excuse that people make. But there's no reason why it has to be that way. If you think about it, there's no reason why we should be telling ourselves that we need a real job to do while we do our passion on the side, or there's no reason why we should be making excuses at all for not creating, because if that is what we truly feel called to do, the best thing that we could do is jump in with both feet and just go all in, be obsessed, because honestly the only way to be successful is to be obsessed. Like, you have to live and breathe your art. You can't half-ass it. And as creative people, as artists, I feel like we are never going to be satisfied doing anything other than being obsessed with our work. So, all that other noise, just let it go. Honestly, yeah, I would say just focus fully on what you're creating.
I just have one final question.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm super into this idea of a modern renaissance, especially values like curiosity, creativity, learning, freedom, craft, excellence, beauty.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd love your take. What does it mean to you to be a renaissance soul today?
I would say I think it means to have very versatile interests, to be passionate about many things, and to be unable to not do them, or to always find your way back to the path that leads you to doing them. I don't know. I think the most important thing would probably be the most important characteristic of someone who's like a renaissance soul. The most important characteristic is to have that undying passion for something more. Not being satisfied with the status quo, like what we talked about before. It's just you have that burning desire to create. And if you have times in your life where you have writer's block, or you're unable to do, like, we're not perfect, we go through things and experiences just to learn from them, but I think the most important thing is that you always something always leads you back to your craft and your creative ventures. So I feel like Renaissance souls never lose that fire in them to do those things, and they innovate.
I love that.
Yay.
Thank you for that. And thank you, Victoria, for sharing this conversation with me. It was really fun as always. And I'm so inspired by everything that you and Max do. I'm going to keep watching everything with like such joy and happiness for seeing you guys manifest this awesome life and make beautiful things and have beautiful experiences. So thank
Yay.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been awesome.
Before we close, where can everybody go to find you, explore your work, connect with you?
So Victoriya on Instagram. So VICTORIYAAA, 3 A's total. And then also my YouTube channel is just Victoriya with the 1 A. TikTok, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, the usual music platforms. Also Spotify, of course. If you look my name up, there's my Spotify is under Victoriya as well. And that's about it.
Perfect. And I'll link everything in the show notes as well. So awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.